Hey everyone, it's Todd from Scoundrels Gaming and welcome to another video. In this video, I'll be showing you how to start the DCS Mi-8 helicopter made by Belsimtech, so just sit back and enjoy. First things first, you want to disengage your rotor brake, which is done just like in a regular car. It is located just right at the pilot seat and is disengaged by pressing the left mouse button on it. Next, you want to engage the two red levers located just above the pilot. After you're done with those, you want to move to the center of the helicopter by pressing 3 on your keypad, since this will be the main place from which you will start your helicopter. After you've moved to the third seat, also known as the flight manager seat, you want to look up and engage your circuit breakers. This can be done by either pushing up the 6 rows located here or by using the shortcut on the keyboard by pressing right control, right shift 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. After you've fired up the circuit breakers, you want to engage the 2 batteries. The switches to start the batteries are located behind the co-pilot, so look to the right and push up these 2 switches. After you've engaged the batteries, you want to fire up the 2 inverters, the 115 and the 36 volt inverters. They are located just below and right of the battery switches, and if you've done everything correctly, you should hear rather satisfying sound after you've engaged the inverters. Next, move the camera to the middle of the helicopter and engage the fire detection equipment. After that, just to the right, engage your fuel shutoff valves by lifting the 2 red covers, pushing the 2 switches up, and returning the covers back into place. When you're done with those, engage the fuel pumps 1, 2, and 3, which are located just below the shutoff valves. After this, it's finally time for you to start the APU, also known as the auxiliary power unit. You turn it on by pushing this switch up and pushing the button just next to it. If you've done everything correctly, you will hear the APU slowly fire up, and when it's finally ready, it's time to start the left engine. This is done by pushing this switch to the left, pushing the switch next to it to the up position, and finally pressing the engine start button. After a few seconds, you will see the rotor start to spin. You want to wait for the left engine to reach a sufficient amount of RPM and stabilize before you start the right engine. When this light turns green, that will mean that the left engine is good to go, and then it's time for you to start the right one. You do that by pushing the engine selector to the right and by pressing the engine start button. Now we wait for the right engine to spin up. After it stops gaining RPM, what you want to do is increase the throttle. This is done by holding the page up button or by manually twisting the throttle on the collective. When you've done this, you want to wait for both engines to stop gaining RPM, after which you'll engage generators 1 and 2. The buttons for starting up the generators are located on the right side of the helicopter just behind the co-pilot on the same panel where the inverters are. After firing up the jennies, move to the panel where you start the batteries and engage reflectors 1, 2, and 3 by pushing up these 3 switches. Next thing you want to do is to turn off the APU by pressing the APU stop button. Just above and right of the co-pilot seat is a triangular panel with a few switches, so turn these on as I do and do the same on the other side where the pilot is. Next, move to the pilot seat by pressing 1 and activate the altimeter, followed by adjusting the height on which the warning signal will let you know you're flying too low. 20 meters is good for me, so I'll place it at the 20 mark. Since we're in the pilot seat, look to the right, and just next to you, you'll find a panel in which you start the autopilots. Press the center button to engage the autopilot to stabilize your pitch and roll. Move to the co-pilot seat by pressing 2 and turn on the flare system by pushing this switch to the right. Also, I'll move this one to the right as well so I can actually dispense flares from both sides of the helicopter. Finally, there's one thing left to do before takeoff, and that is absolutely essential for your flight. Have a bit of pre-flight vodka, my friend, and turn on the fans. If you follow these steps correctly, you have successfully started your Mi-8 helicopter. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, have a safe and pleasant flight.